Om Shanti. This is the Sakar Murli of the 6th of August 2024. Essence: Sweet children, stop performing sinful acts, because you now have to begin the era where no sinful acts are performed. Question: in which way should every Brahmin child definitely follow the father? Answer: just as the father himself becomes the teacher and teaches you, so each one of you has to become a teacher like the father. You have to teach others whatever you learn. You are teachers, children of the teacher, and also Sat Gurus, children of the Sat Guru. You have to establish the land of truth. You are sitting in the boat of truth. Your boat may rock, but it cannot sink. Om Shanti. The spiritual father sits here and has a heart-to-heart conversation with you children. He talks to you spirits because this is new knowledge. This knowledge is new. It is a study to change from human beings into deities. Who is teaching you this? You children know that it is the spiritual father who is teaching you children through Brahma. You should not forget this. He is the father, and then he teaches you, and so he is also the teacher. You also know that you are studying for the new world. You should have faith in every aspect. It is only the Father who teaches you for the new world. The main thing is the Father. The Father is giving these teachings through Brahma. He would give them through someone. It is also remembered, God teaches Raja Yoga through Brahma. He establishes the original eternal deity religion through Brahma. That deity religion doesn't exist now. It is the Iron Age now. So this proves that heaven is being established. There are only those of the deity religion in heaven. There won't be this many religions, that is, destruction will take place, because there are no other religions in the Golden Age. These things are in the intellects of you children. There are now innumerable religions. The Father is now making you into deities from human beings, because it is now the confluence age. This is something that is very easy to explain. They too show establishment happening through Brahma in their picture of the tree Murti. Of what? It would definitely be the establishment of the new world. It cannot be the establishment of the old world. You children have the faith that only deities with divine virtues reside in the new world. We also have to imbibe divine virtues while living at home with our families. First of all, we have to conquer lust and become viceless. Yesterday we would go in front of the images of those deities and say, "You are completely viceless, whereas we are vicious." We would feel ourselves to be vicious because we used to indulge in vice. The Father now says, you have to become as viceless as they are. You also have to imbibe divine virtues. If you have the vices of lust and anger, etc., You cannot be said to have divine virtues. To indulge in vice and to get angry are devilish traits. Would deities have greed? The 5 vices do not exist there. This is the world of Ravan. Ravan takes birth at the confluence of the Silver and Copper Ages. Just as there is the confluence of the Old World and the New World, so that too is a confluence of 2 ages. There is now a lot of sorrow and many illnesses in the kingdom of Ravan. This is called the kingdom of Ravan. They burn Ravan every year. While going on the path of sin, they become vicious. You now have to become viceless. It is here that you have to imbibe divine virtues. Everyone receives the fruit of their actions. You children should not commit any sin now. One is the king who is the conqueror of sinful actions, Vikarmajit, and the other is the king who performs sinful actions, Vikram. This is the era of sinful actions, that is, it is the period of Ravan and the vicious ones. Neither does anyone understand this, nor does anyone know the duration of the cycle. In fact, deities are conquerors of sinful actions. In 5,000 years, there are 2,500 years of King Vikram and 2,500 years of King Vikarmajit. Although those people say that half of each cycle is of King Vikram, they don't understand anything. You say that the period of King Vikarmajit begins with the year 1, and then after 2,500 years, the period of King Vikram begins. The period of King Vikram is now to end, and you are now becoming emperors and empresses, and will be the conquerors of sinful actions. When you have become those, the period of King Vikarmajit will begin. Only you know these things. They ask you, "Why have you made Brahma sit here?" Oh, but why are you bothered about that? It is not this one who is teaching us. We are studying with Shiv Baba, and this one too is studying with that one. The one who is teaching us is the ocean of knowledge. He is without an image. He doesn't have an image, that is, he doesn't have a body. He is called the incorporeal one. All incorporeal souls reside there. They then come down here and become corporeal. Everyone remembers the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. He is the Father of souls. A physical father would not be called the Supreme. This is something to understand. School students pay attention to their studies. When someone has become a barrister, etc., and claimed his status, his study ends. It isn't that he would still continue to study after becoming a barrister. No, his study then ends. You too don't need to study after you have become deities. The kingdom of deities continues for 2,500 years. Only you children know these things. You then have to explain to others. You should also be concerned about how you could be called a teacher if you don't teach others. You all are teachers. Since you are children of the teacher, all of you have to become teachers. So how many teachers are needed to teach this? Just as the Father is the teacher and the Sat Guru, similarly you too are teachers. You are also Sat Gurus, children of the Sat Guru. Those people are not Sat Gurus. They are Gurus, children of a Guru. Sat means the truth. Bharat used to be called the land of truth. This is a land of falsehood. Baba alone establishes the land of truth. He is the true Sai Baba. When the real Father comes, false ones also emerge. It is remembered. Storms will come and the boat will rock, but it will not sink. It is explained to you, children, that many storms of Maya will come. You must not be afraid of them. Sannyasis never say to you, storms of Maya will come. They don't know where they will take the boat across to. You children know that you cannot receive salvation by performing devotion. People continue to come down even though they say that God comes and gives them the fruit of their devotion. Devotion definitely has to be performed. Acha, what fruit of devotion does God come and give? He would surely grant salvation. People say this, but they don't know when or how He would grant it. If you ask anyone, they would say that it has continued eternally, that it has continued from time immemorial. When did they begin to burn an effigy of Ravan? They would say, from the beginning of time. When you explain to them, they say that your knowledge is new. Those who understood this in the previous cycle will quickly understand it. Leave aside Brahma, the birth of Shiva does take place, and they refer to this as Shivratri, Night of Shiva. The Father explains, my birth is divine and unique. I do not take birth like ordinary human beings, because they all take birth through a womb. They become bodily beings. I do not enter a womb. No one except the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, the ocean of knowledge, can give this knowledge. No human being can be called the ocean of knowledge. This praise belongs to only the incorporeal one. The incorporeal Father teaches and explains to you souls. You children have become body conscious while playing your parts in the kingdom of Ravan. This knowledge that it is the soul that does everything is forgotten. These are the organs. I am a soul, and if I want, I can make these organs work or not. In the incorporeal world, souls remain seated there without bodies. You now know your home. Those people consider the home to be God. They are those whose knowledge is of the Brahm element and other elements. They say, we will merge into the Brahm element. If they said that they will reside in the Brahm element, God would then be separate, but they consider the Brahm element to be God. This is also fixed in the drama. They even forget the Father. Should you not remember the Father who makes you into the masters of the world, because he is the one who creates heaven? You are now the most auspicious confluence-aged Brahmins. You are now becoming the most elevated human beings. The lowest human beings bow down in front of the highest beings. They go to the temples of the deities and sing so much praise. You now know that we are becoming deities once again. This is a very simple thing. The variety form image has been explained to you. There is also the variety cycle. Those people simply remember the Brahmins, deities and warriors. There are the images of Lakshmi and Narayan, etc. The Father comes and corrects everyone. He is also correcting you because whatever you have been doing on the path of devotion for birth after birth was wrong. That is why you became Tamo-Pradhan. This is an unrighteous world. There is nothing but sorrow here, because it is the kingdom of Ravan. All are vicious. The kingdom of Ravan is unrighteous, whereas the kingdom of Rama is righteous. This is the Iron Age, and that is the Golden Age. This is something that has to be understood. Have you ever seen that one taking up any scriptures? He has given you his own knowledge and has also given you the explanation of creation. Those who study the scriptures and relate them to others have the scriptures in their intellects. So the bestower of happiness for all is the one Shiv Baba. He alone is the highest on high Father. He is called the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. The Unlimited Father definitely gives you the unlimited inheritance. You became residents of heaven 5,000 years ago, and you are now residents of hell. In the kingdom of Ravan too, there are emperors and kings. Those are very wealthy and the others are less wealthy. They cannot be called those of the Sun dynasty or the Moon dynasty. Amongst them, the wealthy ones receive the title of emperor. Those who are less wealthy receive the title of king. It is now the rule of people over people. There is no lord or master. The subjects used to consider their king to be their provider, the bestower of food, but that too has now disappeared. Now look at the condition of people. There is so much fighting and quarrelling, etc. You now have all of this knowledge from the beginning to the end in your intellects. The Father, the Creator, is now here in a practical way, and there will then be a story made of this on the path of devotion. You too are now here in a practical way. You will rule for half a cycle, and it will later just become a story. The images of you still remain. Ask anyone when those ones ruled, and they would reply that it was hundreds of thousands of years ago. Sannyasis belong to the path of isolation. You belong to the pure household ashram, and you then have to go into the impure household ashrams. No one knows about the happiness of heaven. Those on the path of isolation cannot teach anything about the family path. Previously, they used to reside in the forests, and they had that power. Food used to be taken to them in the forests. Now they don't have any power left. Similarly, you had the power to rule there, but where is that power now? You are the same ones, are you not? You no longer have that power. The original religion of the people of Bharat does not exist now. There is now irreligion. The Father says, I come and carry out the establishment of religion and destroy irreligiousness. I take those who have become irreligious into religion. All the rest will be destroyed. Nevertheless, the Father explains to you, children, give everyone the Father's introduction. The Father alone is called the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness. It is only when you become very unhappy that the Father then comes and makes you happy. This play is eternally predestined. Acha. To the sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bapdada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual father. Essence Vedana. 1. In order to become the most elevated beings at this most auspicious confluence age, make effort to become soul conscious. You have found the true Father, and so do not perform any untrue or unrighteous acts. 2. Do not be afraid of the storms of Maya. Constantly remember that the boat of truth will rock, but it will not sink. Become Satgurus, children of the Satguru, and take everyone's boat across. Blessing. May you be a soul who experiments with the facilities and becomes victorious over them by making the spiritual endeavour of having easy yoga. While having all facilities and experimenting with them, do not let your stage of yoga fluctuate. To be a yogi and to experiment is called being detached. While being an instrument and having everything, free yourself from any attraction to anything and experiment. If you have any desires, those desires will not let you become good, and your time will be spent in making effort. At that time, even though you will try to maintain your spiritual endeavour, the facilities will attract you. Therefore, be a soul who experiments, and by making the spiritual endeavour of having easy yoga, become victorious over the facilities, that is, over matter. Slogan. To remain content and make everyone content is to be a jewel of contentment. Om Shanti.